Legendary Philadelphia Eagles announcer Merrill Reese has the inside scoop on where Zach Ertz's next destination will be. Or does he? We'll talk about all that and more coming up next.
The following announcement has been paid for by
the ENN Podcast.
He has a good energy, you guys.
Can you believe it? Can
Sports.
you feel it? Can you feel that excitement? The merchandise, wearing the hats.
Chris Wild here live from Lincoln Financial.
And I'm telling you, if you let Eli Manning walk into that stadium,
Music.
Wow.
man, again, and I hate to do this again, but these are goose.
Whoa!
And more.
What's his next book gonna be called? Spineless?
Mike.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the ENN Podcast. I'm the good brother of Broad Street, the reigning 1CW Heritage Champion, and the 2020 Big League Fantasy Football Champion, professional wrestler Chris Wild, back here at Bar 4133. And I got to tell you, I'm feeling absolutely anxious this week. I've been feeling absolutely anxious for months over the 2021 NFL football season. It's like when you get that big plate of hot wings and they're so hot, you're just waiting for your drink to arrive.
Cops, you was not nigga. That's the one thing I can say about you. Look at your ass dying, boy. Is you okay, bro? Oh no, my man going through it. My man going through it. Oh yeah, he about to check. Oh yeah.
That's how I feel. As much as I love the summertime, as much as I love the temperature, the beaches, the bikinis, I am ready for some NFL football, and we are just about 10 weeks away until we get some kind of Eagles action. And look, last year, 2020, with the whole COVID-19 protocols, the pandemic, the quarantine, the NFL season just didn't feel like an NFL season to me. When you got the Denver Broncos starting a wide receiver at quarterback because everybody else is under COVID-19 protocol, and you got the Steelers and the Ravens not playing for 14 days almost because of COVID. It seemed like it just wasn't real to me. And look, I'm glad because the Philadelphia Eagles were absolutely putrid. They were horrible in 2020. That goes without saying. So how do you fix it? Well, the Eagles have made moves to try to fix this team, whether it's getting rid of Carson Wentz, getting an entirely new coaching staff, or getting a red-hot rookie like Devontae Smith. They have done some work, but the biggest question mark to me and a lot of fans that is remaining is what is going to happen with tight end Zach Ertz? Well, about 5 days ago, Merrill Reese went on the Dan Sileo show, a guy who I'm not very hot on because he seems to put out false information all the time. Well, he had Merrill Reese, legendary Eagles commentator, on, and Merrill Reese might have slipped up and dropped some knowledge.
Are the Eagles going in now at the tight end position?
It'll be Dallas Goedert, and they re-signed Richard Rodgers, who can be a solid second tight end. Zach Ertz hasn't been around. The word today is they're very close to a deal, and I don't have any inside information to substantiate this, but the word is that they're close to a deal with Buffalo for Zach Ertz. But I believe you have as much chance of being on this roster as Zach Ertz in a few weeks.
Now, there you heard it. He said that day the Buffalo Bills were close to coming up with a trade for tight end Zach Ertz. Now, something that's news to me. Now, it would make complete sense for the Buffalo Bills as they need a tight end. They cleared up $7.8 million in cap space not too long ago. Zach Ertz would save the Eagles $8.5 million in cap space, which might be a reason why they haven't signed a second cornerback yet. But I had not heard any reports until that day of the Buffalo Bills coming close to a deal with the Eagles for Zach Ertz. Now, Merrill Reese went under some fire for this, and just days later, he kind of went back on that report on the Angelo Cataldi show on 94.1.
I love being on with you. However, let me clear this up before we go any further. I did not break a story. Do you want to hear the genesis of this?
Yeah, well, why don't I play this so I could tell you why it sounded this way? You're on a podcast with Dan Sileo, And
Totally,
Merrill,
yeah.
this to me, Al, tell me if this is news. He's
right.
talking about Zach Ertz. Here's Merrill
The
Reese.
word today is they're very close to a deal, and I don't have any inside information to substantiate this, but the word is that they're close to a deal with Buffalo for Zach Ertz. But I believe you have as much chance of being on this roster as Zach Ertz in a few weeks.
Merrill, that sounds pretty solid to me. Now,
Well-
what's the story here?
Well, but the key words are I don't have any inside information, and I was just going by a story that all of us read.
I didn't read
there
it.
was a report saying that the Eagles were close to a deal with Buffalo. That's all I quoted was what we read.
I don't know,
can't
Merrill.
Merrill,
I'm-
I live on the internet. I haven't seen this story.
No, I just the Syracuse paper this morning. You're gonna love this, Merrill.
Yeah.
Here's the headline: Bills close to zeal for Zach Ertz, says Eagles play-by-play man.
Merrill,
Oh,
you
no.
are breaking. Merrill,
I know nothing.
hold on a minute. Merrill, this is bad. Everybody's picked up your story.
Hey, and you know that was just at the very end of a whole thing about it, how excited Nick Sirianni has been, and how much I loved watching Devontae Smith, all that stuff, and he throws that line at the end, and I said, well, the word I got, and I said I have no inside information, none. It was from a newspaper report. Didn't you guys read that a few weeks ago?
Oh, Merrill, I'll keep reading. Appearing
Merrill.
on the National Football Show, Reese told Cilio that the Bills are close to the deal.
Merrill,
That
I
is
was
Merrill.
really
Oh, Merrill.
I can't believe it. Merrill's out breaking stories
Wait a
now.
minute. If you give me another 5 minutes, I'll tell you what the Rams and the Bucks are doing.
Now, look, do I think that Merrill Reese doesn't have some kind of inside connection to the Eagles?
Hell no.
Absolutely not. I believe that he absolutely gets some kind of insider knowledge when it comes to this team, and he maybe slipped up that day on that show and might have messed up the trade that the Bills and the Eagles might have had. But look, the Eagles are getting dangerously close to not being able to trade Zach Ertz at all and just having to release him. Now, earlier in the offseason, before the draft, there were some reports that the Eagles were offered a third-round pick for Zach, and they said no. Now, when I talk about Zach Ertz, he's one of my all-time favorite Eagles. No one will ever forget what he did during the Super Bowl in that fourth quarter, that fourth down catch that kept the drive going, which ultimately was him catching the game-winning touchdown. He has been an awesome Eagle. The next year, breaking the tight end reception record. I mean, he's just been awesome here. Him and his wife both have given back to the community, and he will always be held in high regard. As a matter of fact, I won't even stop wearing his jersey. That jersey will always stay in rotation for me. However, I see the end coming for Zach Ertz. Last year was a disaster. He was hurt, and when he wasn't hurt, he just wasn't good. Now, whether that was because of the quarterback play or because of the heat that he had with management over a new contract he thought he deserved after seeing George Kittle and Travis Kelce score big contracts, I don't know, but he just wasn't himself, and maybe he's starting to go downward. Maybe he's starting to trend downward, which is why some teams might not want to give up much for Zach Ertz, especially knowing that the Eagles don't want him and he doesn't want the Eagles, so it's just going to be tough to me. I think ultimately what we're going to see happen with Zach Ertz is during training camp, a team is going to lose a tight end to injury. They're going to need one, and that's when the Eagles will trade him. Now, if that doesn't happen, he could just end up getting released. It's extremely frustrating for him because obviously he wants to get to a new team, learn a new system, find a place to live. And for the Eagles, it's frustrating because it's $8.5 million just being held there. So they can't make some of the moves that they want to. They still need some linebacker help, and we all know they need a second cornerback desperately, an outside corner to go with Darius Slay. So we will see what happens. I hope that the Eagles end up getting at least a 4th or 5th round pick for Zach. However, it's not very likely at this point, I'll be honest with you. I saw somebody saying, look, they might get a first. That will not happen at all. That maybe would have happened after 2017, but not now. Not with this Zach Ertz, especially after last year. But with that being said, guys, I appreciate all the subscribers. We're getting closer and closer to 2,000, 1,000, 2,000. Let's get it. Let's go. If you are a new watcher and you feel like subscribing to me, please do it, as it definitely helps the cause. At getting closer to 2,000 would mean the world to everybody here at ENN. I want to thank David Cartwright for some of the music that has been being played during the intro and outro. of this podcast. And yeah, guys, once I start getting some more action as far as football goes, we will start seeing more Eagles videos. But it absolutely kills me that there's just not much to talk about. And if I talk about 2020 and some of the roster breakdowns from there, I'm going to be absolutely clinically depressed, as that's what last year was for me. Now, with that being said, guys, everybody stay safe out there. Enjoy the summertime weather. Stay hydrated. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Go Birds, and I'll see you later.
A-G-L-E-S Eagles! A-G-L-E-S Eagles! I need Eagle Nation to stand.